Thank you for watching the Housing Authority of Cook County's processing steps for moving papers. This video will give you an overview of the process once you submit your moving papers to the Housing Authority. First form that you will fill out with the landlord is the request for tenancy approval. Make sure you and the landlord complete the full address, including any unit numbers, the street, avenue, place, and the city and zip code for the unit you're interested in renting. In section 11, make sure you and the landlord discuss what utilities you'll pay when you move into this unit and what utilities are included in the rent. You and the landlord will sign page 2 of the request for tenancy approval. The owner will complete a series of documents that are included in your packet, including the declaration of ownership, the W-9 form, and the direct deposit sign-up form. The landlord may submit these documents separately to the Housing Authority. The landlord will also need to submit documents to show that they own the unit, verification of their taxpayer identification number, such as a Social Security card or an IRS letter, a management agreement if another company will provide management services, and a voided check. The landlord may submit these documents directly to the Housing Authority. Once these documents are received, the Housing Authority will review the documents to make sure all forms are complete and that all the owner documents have been received. The Housing Authority will also review and make sure that the rent plus the utility allowance for any utilities the tenant pays does not exceed the payment standard. If it does exceed the payment standard, the Housing Authority may contact the owner to make a preliminary rent offer that is within the payment standard. Once we have all the paperwork, we will schedule an inspection through our contractor, McCright and Associates. McCright will contact the owner to schedule an inspection. If they cannot reach the owner, they will leave a message with the date and time of an inspection that is at least 10 days in the future. The owner can always call McCright back and schedule an earlier inspection date and time. If the unit fails the inspection, it's up to the owner to contact McCright to arrange a re-inspection once all the repairs are completed. If the unit fails only for a certificate of occupancy, then the owner must submit that to McCright, and then the unit will pass the inspection. When the unit passes the inspection, the results will be given to the housing specialist within 3 business days of the date that it passed inspection. Once the housing specialist has the passed inspection, the housing specialist will conduct a rent reasonableness comparison and determine a final rent offer to the landlord. They will consider other units in the area that are not assisted, the characteristics and the condition of the unit, and they will look at the affordability requirement that the family may not pay more than 40% of their monthly adjusted income at the time that the family is moving to the unit. Once the rent amount is determined, the housing specialist will confirm the move-in date. The move-in date will be the first of the month in most cases to prevent paying 2 landlords for the same tenant. The exceptions are families who are moving to the Housing Authority of Cook County from other housing authorities across the country. When a move is required following failed inspections on uninhabitable units, or families who are not currently in a subsidized unit, either because they're coming from the waiting list or they've been displaced from their unit. The housing specialist will send the HAP contract to the owner to sign. When the owner signs the contract and returns that with the lease that both the tenant and landlord have signed, the HAP contract and lease must match both with the lease start and end dates, the total rent for the unit, and the utility responsibility breakdown. When you sign the lease, make sure all this information is clearly spelled out, and make sure you get a copy of your signed lease. The Housing Authority sends payments to the landlords by direct deposit. Payments are made on the first of the month and the middle of the month. The first of the month is the routine payment date, and that's the first business day of the month. If the processing of your paperwork doesn't happen in time for the first of the month, the Housing Authority will also send payments in the middle of the month, between the 16th to the 18th. And this will cover any payments that were missed on the first. And then after that, all payments will go back to a first of the month schedule. Owners can sign up to view their payment details in the portal on our website, www.thehack.org. Some things that can cause delays in the process, which overall can take about 30 days, are not receiving the owner documents, if the owner does not respond to the inspection scheduling, if the owner doesn't reschedule an inspection after a fail, if the owner doesn't have a certificate of occupancy or doesn't submit that timely, or if the owner does not return any signed HAP contracts or the lease. Please feel free to watch this video again. Reach out to your housing specialist if you have any questions about your specific process, and watch our video about how to find a unit that is a good fit for you and for the income in your household. Thank you for attending our moving paper briefing.